What's going on, Neon Nation? I hope you guys are all having a great time playing Phantom Liberty right now. In today's news update, we're talking about patch 2.01, which CDPR has already started to communicate about, including a variety of common fixes coming soon. GeForce Now for Phantom Liberty, a statement from the devs about something more coming after the expansion, some really cool gifts that the CDPR team got for their work on PL, a little segment with one of the bands featured on Growl FM, and more. So let's get into the latest Cyberpunk 2077 news and updates. First up, let's go over a recent announcement from CD Projekt Red that yes, patch 2.01 is already being worked on and will come out in the near future. CDPR has been listening to a ton of feedback from the community, and I know that there's a lot of persistent problems that are hampering some people's ability to play the expansion and even the base game, so a lot of these issues are being looked into. These are just the highlights, but more fixes will be packaged in with 2.01 when it drops. Starting off, I know this has been a huge issue with players, and that is getting stuck into some of the distortion effects after talking to Johnny at the end of Automatic Love, and this is at the top of the list here coming with the 2.01 fixes. V will also no longer die in the heist after falling through the elevator when riding to the 42nd floor with low FPS. There's also been an issue with the UI where controller inputs were shown when playing with a mouse and keyboard, and a massive one for me personally where you can now properly switch to ARM cybernetics by cycling through weapons. There's definitely more of an emphasis on changing weapons with some of the iconics and some of the playstyles that you can create, and this was definitely a huge pet peeve of mine that broke the flow of gameplay. The gig breaking news had issues being triggered when approaching the quest area, which is also getting fixed, and the vehicle radio volume is being adjusted so that it's not too quiet when compared to other sounds in the game. This is a huge one. The corrupted save files on PlayStation is also getting addressed by increasing the maximum save file size limit. CDPR does note here that this won't fix the saves corrupted before the update, and that if you are experiencing the issue, keep a working save and resave it as a manual save until 2.01 arrives. A big issue for me were performance dips in Dogtown, and this is getting improved for both PC and consoles, so that it's optimized to the same degree as the rest of Night City. Okay, moving on, and launching a game is a massive achievement. I mean, most AAA developers will only launch a few in their entire lives, just because of how many years it takes to make these games. That being said, the devs at CDPR have been sharing some really cool gifts from the studio as a sort of memento for releasing Phantom Liberty. Anyways, check them out here. I think they're super clean and beautiful, and will obviously help commemorate Phantom Liberty's amazing launch for the devs that receive these. So obviously we know that Phantom Liberty is the last major update and expansion to the game, and even though we know patches will come, CDPR is hinting at smaller updates coming to Cyberpunk 2077 before all is said and done. Before I talk a little bit about that, do know that CDPR calls small updates DLC, whereas fully fledged content releases like Phantom Liberty is classified as an expansion. So patches and DLC has at times come with new weapons, new gigs, new items, new clothing, and even new cyberware. In an interview with PC Gamer, game director of Cyberpunk 2077, Gabe Angelo mentioned that Cyberpunk 2 or Orion is next on the docket, but when referring to Phantom Liberty mentions that quote, "we'll do a little something more." So now me, huffing some major hopium, is now praying that Cyberpunk 2077 will still receive some new content, ideally a few new gigs. I think since we aren't getting another full expansion, that additional DLC content that they can add can be a little bit more elaborate, and something that incentivizes players to revisit, kind of like a mini live service. At one point, multiple expansions had been planned, so there's always a hope that some of the content from that expansion has been repackaged, repurposed, or actually even created and fits nicely into a few small DLC additions. Now at the same time, CDPR are cleaning their hands of Red Engine, a beautiful but problematic engine, in favor of Unreal, so I'd also imagine that they would want to start porting their team to that. So we'll just have to wait and see the size and scope of this quote-unquote something more. All in all though, we'll be getting something more past Phantom Liberty that we can all speculate on and look forward to. For those of you waiting on Phantom Liberty on GeForce Now, yes, you can now play on your favorite devices with the full power of RTX and DLSS 3.5. A big game changer here, and yeah, Cyberpunk runs on your Steam Decks and ROG Allies now, so you can enjoy the game on the go if you're traveling or just prefer playing it that way. It's honestly really amazing seeing this coming from the PS4 days of not being able to run the game at all, to seeing it being able to run on handheld tech. Okay, so the community has found a few really interesting little details and Easter eggs so far in Phantom Liberty, so I wanted to highlight two of my favorites. First up, shout out to Choom Last Known Meal, another YouTube creator that is a good friend of the channel, so go check him out. But he also found this really awesome place of power Easter egg during this scene where you're supposed to dial the number for Solomon Reed. I'll just go ahead and play you guys the clip. Next up, we know that Dogtown is for the Barghest and the Barghest only, and corpos in the NCPD do not have jurisdiction here. If you happen to be in a cop car trying to enter the Dogtown gate, you'll get this message from the Combat Zone's militia. Really cool little detail that I know a lot of us appreciate. Also, if you guys have Amazon Prime and you have not claimed the Chesapeake Smart Iconic SMG weapon, you have until October 24th to do so. Next up, we have a little message from the Spirit Machines, a band that's featured on Cyberpunk 2077's radio station Growl FM, with their new song Candy Shell. I'll let them take it away.
Hey Neon Nation, we're Spirit Machines! We're here to talk about our song Candy Shell, featured in Phantom Liberty. And we drew a lot of inspiration from a lot of the lore that was already out there. Some edge runners, the game itself, and yeah, just put together this awesome piece of music that we hope you're enjoying.
Yeah, if you've been listening to Growl FM, hopefully you've heard our song. Hopefully you've heard the songs from the other artists who are amazing. So cool to be featured along with them. And Candy Shell is basically inspired a lot by edge runners. The whole thing of cyberpsychosis was such a big theme, you know, becoming so robotic that you lose your humanity, which I feel like with AI in the real world is kind of like becoming an issue. So we kind of wanted to deal with that. And a lot of the lyrics and the song is about becoming a cyberpsycho.
Yeah, when we started writing the song, we just imagined driving around, you know, doing missions, fighting with the different gangs, and basically the main refrain is come and play, and you know, have fun playing Candy Shell, but you gotta beware. There's a crazy part that Mike wrote. It's an interlude that's kind of about going psycho. So whenever you hear it, just go crazy in the game or in real life and get all amped up.
This song is supposed to be for when you're driving, but it also has these like mode changes that really, I don't know, question reality, question like if it's right or not. And when it hits like the middle of the song or the interlude, when like it's supposed to feel like a car crash, that's really when that mode comes in most into play. And I think that's what makes the song really pop. Yeah, Candy Shell is such a fun song to hear on the game. I hope you guys are digging it as much as I do.
Do something crazy when it comes on, and if you get a good clip, send it to us and we'll share it. Thank you, Neon Nation. Thank you, Neon Arcade. Thank you, CD Projekt Red. Enjoy Cyberpunk. Play Cyberpunk responsibly. Don't drink and play Cyberpunk.
Awesome little insight there into one of their songs. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. There's so much I want to talk about the new lore of Phantom Liberty, but I'm going to let you guys play through it and kind of just experience it first before I start releasing videos, but really excited to start doing that. So if you are into the lore, if you love Cyberpunk, do consider subscribing, and I will catch you guys in the next video.